Hi guys, it's that time of the week again for Record of the Week. As usual, I've had three main pieces of music this week that have inspired me, calmed me down, and made me feel extremely happy. Okay, the first album is called The Spirit of Eden, and it's by a group called Talk Talk. This is not your run-of-the-mill album where you would listen to one song, then the next song, then the next song, then the next song. This sort of interweaves, it's like a soundscape. There's lots of dynamic where it's loud, it's soft, it's light, it's dark. Lots of tones, textures, beautiful instrumentation, lovely vocals from Mark Hollis, the singer. And this album is a very kind of sort of reflective soundscape within itself. And it's a sort of album where it's very still. There's a sort of stillness to it. There's movement and there's stillness, but it's mainly still throughout. Now, this is extremely calming in the times that we're living in, where for me anyway, everything seems to be going by so fast, time seems to be moving extremely fast, and there's distraction everywhere. So falling back into this album, which I haven't listened to since about 1990, was extremely calming, but also inspiring because there's this lovely kind of 80s production, and you can tell they're in this big recording studio. And they're just making this record, they're improvising, they're trying ideas out, they're trying instrumentation out, they're taking songs, deconstructing them, putting different parts with different parts. All of this going along. It's a sort of throwback in a way to the sort of progressive rock, I suppose, to some degree, or the Beatles even experimenting in the recording studio. But it's got that lovely 80s big architectural sort of soundscape. At the same time, though, there's a lovely delicacy within it. And this delicacy sort of plays with your emotions and it draws you along and it gets inside of you. And these little motifs, they sort of hook into your brain and they sort of bring you into the music. It's not a record that you could listen to for the first time and then that would be it. You would listen to it for the second time and then the third time you'd really get to know it. And I like albums like that do that, because the first time, I can remember in 1990 when I listened to it and I thought, well, this isn't so great. Second time I listened to it, I thought, oh, this has got some lovely, this is beautiful. The third time I was like, wow, this is really good. Why couldn't I hear it like this in the first listen? And that's what really great music does. It draws you in and it has these little hooks, these little melodies, these little motifs, these sounds, this dynamic, this loud, soft, light and dark. Beautiful production, pristine, but it's always pulling you along, and the instrumentation is as well, and the vocals and the lyrics, they take you along too. And it's a ride you don't mind going on, or it's an atmosphere you don't mind being in. It's a world that you don't mind entering in, because you find yourself, when you're in that world, you find naturally things that resonate within you within that piece of music. And like I say, I haven't listened to this for a long time, and I'm extremely surprised that EMI let them release this record, because it's not at all 80s hit music, There's not even a hit record on it. There's not really, I think they released one single. There's not really a single on there, really. There's, it's just a studio album, a great big studio album. And it's amazing that they did that in that time and actually got away with it. But it's an album that's stood the test of time. And it's still a wonderful, marvellous, sculptured, sonic masterpiece. My second album is an absolute cracker. It's by Klaus Olgermann and Michael Brecker, and it's called Cityscape. As you would expect with Klaus Olgermann, it's going to have beautiful orchestration, and this has absolutely lovely orchestration. It's rich, it's harmonic, it's melodious, it's beautiful, sonic, lovely sound, but also it's extremely atmospheric. Piercing through this, or where there's spaces also, is Michael Brecker's wonderful improvisations on the saxophone. Now, as a guitar player, when I hear Michael Brecker, I just practice for hours, because it's the most inspiring improvisation. The saxophone just translates amazingly well to the guitar. I mean, it's unguitaristic and difficult at times to play, but you come out with original stuff. If you listen to guitar players, generally it's the same thing. It's just everybody plays the same thing or does the same things. Saxophone, you always find something new, and especially rhythmically. And this is the beauty of Brecker, is that you have these wonderful, rich orchestrations, this lovely atmosphere, but Brecker brings this dynamic of rhythm as well. And his rhythms and his phrasing, his musical phrasing, just the two things just go hand in hand. It's like a hand in a glove in the way that they go together, because one complements the other. And when I listen to this record, I just get the guitar and I practice and practice, because the compositions on this record are fantastic as well. So this gives Michael Brecker lots to work with in terms of being an improviser. It also gives Klaus Olgermann lots to work with in terms of orchestration. There isn't one note on this album that you would change. It's just absolutely, startling. And for me as a guitar player, like I say, I found this album inspiring. It's made me work harder this week and come up with some new ideas as well, which always happens with the saxophone, because the phrasing and everything will be slightly different. And I don't know what it is about the saxophone. It's the same with John Coltrane or Charlie Parker. When I hear it, I sort of visualize a guitar fingerboard, or I hear it on the guitar fingerboard, or I feel how to finger it with, how to get the fingers in the positions to make it work on the guitar fingerboard, especially when you hear sort of like quartal harmony and things like this. So that's my second record of the week, Michael Brecker and Klaus Olgermann. My final record of the week is by probably my third favourite guitarist, and that is George Benson. Now, it's not just George Benson's playing that I love on this record. It's his wit, his attitude, and his sort of playfulness. It actually embodies his whole sort of character as a musician to some degree. Because it sounds like he's just got to the studio and he's just thought, oh, remember that song Tenderly? I like that one. And he's just sort of learnt it again, quickly worked out the melody, then sort of says something like, put the microphone on, and then just records it. I'm not saying that's what happened, but that's how it sounds. It has this sort of wit, this sort of playfulness that he has. And you can tell when he's playing this, he has so many ideas in his head and they're all sort of coming out at once. And he just doesn't care. If he plays a wrong note, not that he does play a wrong note, but if he does, he doesn't care, because he's so sort of connected with the music. And in terms of playing the guitar, this is wonderful, because you need that playful element at times. You need that kind of humour, that wit, because otherwise it can all become so serious. So he's just playing all of these wonderful ideas that he's hearing, and it's just incredible to hear that. And you can just tell that he's playing this from his heart, and there's no pretensions or anything like that. He's just playing the music, and whatever comes out, and he's fine with it, and it's incredible, because then he sort of does this amazing performance in this amazing recording, and it's just him playing the guitar, there's nothing else. So when I listen to that, it makes me extremely happy, and much happier as a guitar player and as a musician all round, really. So anyway, those were my 3 records of the week this week. If this video was of any use to you, then please smash the subscribe button, because that really does keep the channel going. Click the like button, because that really helps with the algorithm. Click the notification button if you like the video, and write a comment if you want. And I'll see you all in the next video, and thank you for watching.